I would like our Principal Sir, Mr. Santanu Das, our CFO, Ms. Vani Pratap, our Assistant Headmaster, Mr. Sudeep Mukherjee, and our M.U.N representative and Secretary General for this event, Master Sai Teja, along with our respected chairs, to please light the lamp.
श्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणस्पत आनः शृण्वन्नोतिभिस्सीदत्सादनं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणस्पत आनः शृण्वन्नोतिभिस्सीदत्सादनं प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामभित्रयवतु.
Respected chairs, distinguished teachers, delegates, and friends of Sarla Birla Academy. It is my utmost pleasure to welcome you to this beautiful campus of Sarla Birla Academy for the Inter-House Model United Nations 2022-2023. After 2 years of COVID, lockdowns, and online M.U.N sessions, finally we are here to kickstart the debating skills among our students through this Model United Nations. Without further ado, I now introduce you to the 4 committees of this year's M.U.N. The 4 committees are as follows. Our first committee is the Emergency Meet of Indian Leaders, 1857, is a special committee. The British Empire ruled India for over 200 years. To perpetrate rulers, arbitrary laws, poor wages, heavy taxes, and other nefarious means. The British managed to gain a stronghold in the country. With these, the sparks of revolution have begun to spread across the country. The situation has come to a boiling point. Delegates will intend to debate on whether the Indian leaders will decide to wage war. If so, then what is their plan of action? Who will be the leader? Or solve the matter by discussing with the Britishers. The second committee is the Climate Action, a general assembly promoting the development and accelerated transfer of environmentally sound technologies for low carbon and climate resilient development of developing countries. In this committee, delegates will intend to debate how the developing countries can achieve the utmost level of industrialization with a minimum impact on climate in the world. The third committee is the Cold War 1949, a historic crisis committee. This body will be meeting between governments struggling to cope with a rapid series of events that made the rise of the Cold War among the most frightening geopolitical experiences ever. It begins in the late summer of 1949, covering events of the early Cold War period. The major goal of this simulation is to find solutions to the enormous momentum behind rising Soviet influence across the globe without causing World War III. And the final committee, Lal Bahadur Shastri, 1966, Lok Sabha. On January 11, in 1966, the then Prime Minister of India, Lal Bahadur Shastri, died under mysterious circumstances in Tashkent, Soviet Union. This death was not an ordinary death. It was a death whose mystery remains unsolved even today. To succeed him, delegates will intend to debate on who will be the next Prime Minister, Indira Gandhi or Morarji Desai. I wish all the best to all the participants and let the great debate begin. Thank you.
And dear students, it's my privilege today to address you all before the commencement of this wonderful event in our school, the SPA. The Model United Nations may be a model that you're all going to simulate, but what is interesting is that in this process, you are all going to become citizens of countries that you have probably never lived or visited in. You have all prepared over the last few days to understand the problems that different nations of the world are facing And over the next 2 days, you will be engaging in discussions with your co-delegates to find solutions to some of these problems. What's important here is that it works, even though it is a simulation. It works because each one of you here today has decided to be someone other than who you normally are, and you have also decided to work together and respect others like you, and everyone will together try to use this platform to find solutions to the problems of the world. And that is the essence of harmonious living. And that is what United Nations is all about. It's about you. The UN is our community. It is a family of nations, and we are all committed to maintaining international peace and security, better living standards, and respect for human rights. And as you know, United Nations is not a world government, it does not make laws. It does, however, provide the means to help resolve international conflicts and formulate policies on matters that affect all of us. And so, through a platform and a process, it enables all its member states, however big, however small, with different political views and social systems, to still have a voice and a vote in this process.
Good morning, Secretary General, the chairs, the principal, the CFO and business administrator, delegates, and all the children and my colleagues. Very important day for all of us. We all were very excited about this particular event at inter-house level. Lot of work has gone, and I appreciate the teacher in charges, the committee members, and the children right in the forefront who have worked throughout during the holidays and for last couple of days here. A special note to some children who have made to the school in spite of their health issues. And I know one child who is already here. But this shows the passion with which they all look forward to any of the events. Before I start declare the meet open, there are a few pointers. First and foremost, I thank M.U.N to have clearly laid out the views about various committees. This particularly to all the active and the children who will be not actively participating in the event, but as an audience. There are a lot of phrases and sayings like pen is mightier than sword and what is history about. So once you go and be part of these committees, you must be a little informed. And there must be a pattern to understand what's going on. Otherwise it will be a bit of lost case. If you look at the themes on which the committees will be working for, I will take the privilege to declare SBA Inter-House M.U.N-2022 open.
How are you so sure about that?
For the loss of our honorable Prime Minister, the death of Prime Minister has shocked the country, giving rise to uncertainty over India's political future. The country now needs a strong and confident leader who can develop and bring back normalcy in the country. As a leader and patriot, I want this country to go in right hands and go a leading light. The country needs a supreme commander who can understand the present situation and work for the betterment of the country. We need someone who understands the problem of our non-citizens and their needs. Our country is going through very difficult phase. We are developing, and to support our
because of the rumor about Greece strategy, which is most probably true, because the only source of information we had at the time was newspapers, and a lot of these newspapers were controlled by British. So maybe the information has to be true. So because of this, most sepoys are like to default from their respective posts, and the rulers of these British allied areas may have some persecution for these sepoys, so they join our forces. So usually the sepoys that have already joined our forces will already have enough manpower and enough force to take over the non-organized.
them, Mr. Lax. Are there any points on the floor? Point to order. I need to again, you still have to maintain decorum. Just because I'm checking sources doesn't mean you're allowed to cross talk. Whatever.
Alliance and joins the new AAAS Alliance, also known as AAAS Alliance, which is a mix of capitalism and socialism. Some of the countries, the ruling countries such as France, Britain, and USA, remain capitalist, while the other joining the new members of the alliance are socialist. And currently,
Okay, so that bloc is working on capitalist and socialist ideology.
Yeah, exactly.
Current crisis is
And the only three,
By US.
yeah, USSR has nuked Poland.
and all their Poland's nukes are gone as they have nuked the warehouses.
That I know. Yes, okay,
Chair,
You-
the ruling countries are not the UK. They are
Founding,
the
my
founders.
Okay,
Founders
that
are
was a-
clearing that.
Founders are 6 people.
Okay, that was a fumble.
Six.
The founders.
Are 6 people.
How many people are there in the bloc?
A lot.
18 and 6 people
A
are
lot of
founders.
countries switch from capitalism to communism and back to capitalism is under a single line.
Yeah.
Under 18 are for
They change the foreign policy as
In
in
the
the actual timeline or present?
Yeah.
No,
Present.
actual timeline 2 years. Actual timeline 2 years.
I want my hammer, please. This is my gavel.
Of the Committee Climate Action, and our agenda was to find ways to plan into the future for sustainable industrialization. First, there were 2 moderated topics on the agenda, and then later the committee faced crisis. The first crisis was that Taiwan is submerging within a month, and the people living in Taiwan had to be evacuated immediately. But China did not allow 200 people to enter, and it is estimated by the UN that they were killed by the Chinese. The Japanese are allowing only the rich class to enter, and not the poor people. The second crisis that the committee faced was that the President of the United States of America, Joe Biden, has died due to heat stroke. The Vice President Kamala Harris has resigned, and Donald Trump has been elected as the new president. Greta Thunberg took funds from the Swiss banks and bombed the German oil pipelines, and later she was found dead in Germany due to poisoning. At last, a resolution named Stop the Run was presented on the agenda of the committee, with its authors being the delegate of Switzerland and the delegate of China. The resolution was passed with a 2/3 majority. Thank you.
Good morning, school. I had the opportunity to be the co-chair of the Historic Crisis Committee, the Cold War 1949. Chairing this committee was an absolute honor. The committee featured intense and debating and lobbying, which resulted into multiple countries violating the foreign policies. 2 power blocs were formed on the first day, based on their ideology and types of economy they used to follow, and were tasked to handle multiple crises given out by different chairs, which included the USSR threatening the community region. They too started with the bang, Poland getting nuked by USSR, and multiple countries pulled back from communist region and started an alliance called the AAAS Alliance, which accepted both capitalism and socialism in the manifesto. The committee finished with the USSR making every nation on the earth which wasn't in the committee a communist nation and declaring war on the AAAS Alliance. Thank you.
I wish a very good morning to one and all present here. Today, I, M.U.N will be sharing my experience as the co-chair of the committee of the 1857 emergency meet of the Indian leaders. I was very grateful to be the one who was chosen as a co-chair, as I got to see the young talent which was illuminating brightly in the 8th and 9th graders who were part of the M.U.N. I could personally make out that most of the delegates had done their research really well, as we could see their fascinating ideas and plans about waging war or discussing and negotiating with the Britishers, so that we, us Indians, could live in peace and harmony. The committee ended by 2 press releases by both the British and Indian laws. Now I would like to conclude my speech by saying thank you to everyone who contributed in the intra-house M.U.N and to the delegates for putting an excellent show up there. Thank you.
Good morning,
School. I, Vishal Agarwal, was honored to be the co-chair of the committee Lok Sabha. Our main agenda was to discuss that who should become the next Prime Minister, Indira Gandhi or Morarji Desai. As the fellow delegate started this committee with utmost environment, the whole committee was really enjoyable. The committee started with general speakers list, where nearly all the delegates talked and discussed about Lal Bahadur Shastri's death. After this, we had two moderate caucuses and an unmoderated caucus where we discussed about the agenda, and then 12 members led by Gulzari Lal and Atal Bihari Vajpayee decided to leave INC and made their own committee named Bharat Jodo Party, making Indira Gandhi by majority the next Prime Minister. And that is how the committee was completed and agenda was fulfilled. Thank you.
I would now like to invite Master Garg to come up and declare the committee-wise results. Individual winners will also come up and take their awards.
The following are the results for the Lok Sabha committee. We will begin with our co-chair, Master Vishal Agarwal. Next, the best delegate, Indira Gandhi. Next, the outstanding delegate, Shankar Dayal Sharma. Now we have the special mentions won by P.V. Narasimha Rao and Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Now we have the honorable mentions, Gulzari Lal Nanda and S. Ninjalingappa. Now I invite Master Garg to announce the results of the other committees.
Next up, we have the Cold War Committee. Firstly, I would like to call the co-chair, Master Shreyansh Agarwal. Best delegate, China. Next up, we have the outstanding delegate, Poland. Special mention, USA. For the honorable mentions, France, South Korea and North Korea.
Next up, we have the Climate Crisis Committee. Firstly, I would like to call the co-chair, Weber Vingasya. Best Delegate, Switzerland. Outstanding Delegate, China. Special mention, Germany. For Saudi Arabia. Lastly, we have the 1857 committee. First up, I would like to call the co-chair, Masumayan Jain. Best Delegate, Bahadur Shah Zafar. Outstanding Delegate, Charles Canny. Special mention, Hakeem Hasanullah, Mangal Pandey. And for the honorable mentions, we have General Lee, Firoz Shah, Rao Saleh, James Brown, Ramsey, Nana Sahib. Thank you.
I would now request Principal Sir to say a few words and announce the overall results and hand over the trophy to the winning house.
What we will do, we will probably announce this and hand over the trophy because the children are waiting and standing. And then I'll share my feelings, my perception that I have had. So this is the overall result of a very successful Model United Nations that we have had over Saturday and Sunday. There were 25, so that we understand how it worked out. There are 25 participants from each house, and a maximum of 100 points could have been scored. So total points would be 2,500. And then the house position, with 1,209.6 points. Aditya stood at the fourth position. With 1,390.5 points, Bhaskar stood in the third position. With 1,505.5 points, Vivaswan stood in the second position. And with 1,733.8 points, Martin were the best house.
I would request the house captains to come up and collect the certificates.